Okay, awesome. Hey guys, welcome to this week's Sovereign Life team call. It's December 13th, 2021. And we were just going to get into a conversation about Zach and his success over the last 2 weeks of joining. We've yet to see someone on our team, introduce the business to this many people this quickly. So yeah, we need to pick your brain a little bit, Zach. We need to know where the confidence comes from. I know you and I had a discussion about this. And I think a lot of people on the team would benefit from hearing your insights. So how can we kind of like facilitate this? Do you want to tell us about your experience?
Tell us your process.
You guys can stop me whenever and ask me whatever. But honestly, it's not really time. Like I'm not putting that much time physically into it because like I said, I work full time as an engineer, and then I have my stuff, my landscaping stuff on weekends. So it's kind of like I mentioned to you the other day, working it into your lifestyle. So the people you interact with a lot of people every day, regardless of what you do. So if you can find a way to somehow bring it up in topic, or just somehow organize your day so that there are a few people that you can come into contact with and just let them know hey, I got interested in this, and just kind of your delivery. So say hypothetically there's two people I could hang out with today, and one of them I think is a good candidate and one of them isn't. I would just modify my day to make sure that I interact with that person. So it's I have this much time, so I need to be careful with kind of who I interact with, and just organizing my day so that I can maximize my outreach, not changing my schedule, but just kind of modifying it so that I can see those people, right?
Yeah, I think there's two important things there.
Yeah.
Just to stop you for a second. Okay, so because that was a big aha moment for me, was number one, the fact that he said how he fits it into his lifestyle. He's not changing himself or the experience that he's having. He's just leveraging the time that he has to share this thing with the people that he wants to share it with. But what I've noticed for myself in the past, and I know this is true for a lot of people on our team, is we hype ourselves up before we're getting ready to talk to someone about this. I know we have a training, we have the contact and invite method and process. There's some learning that's involved when it comes to speaking to people. But Zach has circumvented that entire experience because he doesn't hesitate to talk. It's not, I'm going to sit here for an hour and prep before I go and chat with this person. It's just simply, I'm doing this thing. I like what I'm doing. I believe in the products. I believe in the business. Let me share this with as many people as possible. So I kind of want you to get into that for a second, because it's a very different mentality. And I know I had the resistance in the beginning. I know a lot of people on our team did. And I personally, based on what I've seen with him, don't think it needs to take that much time to talk to one person about this opportunity.
Yeah, like what you're saying, it's kind of a mental thing you gotta get over. But from doing my landscaping stuff, talking to clients, you'll go out, I'll go out and I'll quote jobs, and I'll drive 45 minutes to go quote a job, and they don't accept the quote. And it's you realize that's part of the whole process. You're gonna put in time, and you're gonna try and sign people up and do that, and they'll say no. And the problem is that's part of it, and you got to realize that, and you can't get down on it. Hypothetically, I go and talk to someone and they're not interested. I could hang my head after and be oh, I tried today and I didn't get it, and be tough on myself. But you got to just okay, on to the next one, on to the next one. It's a mental thing you have to get over.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's a lot of just not having shame. I told Elena, I'll unblock an ex to reach out to her if that means that she could potentially sign up, or I'll it doesn't matter. I'll make amends if it's an opportunity. I'll make amends, and if they say wow, you're really gonna unblock me, you're really gonna do this just to talk to me about this, it's yeah, I am. Are you interested or not? And then you never know. I know it's maybe not the best approach always, but yeah, you gotta just kind of have no shame and be confident in what you're selling. You gotta the products are good. We know that. All of us know the products are good. So you gotta, yeah, you gotta really be confident in that and the way you carry yourself. Because if you doubt yourself at all, people can tell in your tone, and they can tell in the way that you're talking about it. So it's that's important too.
Yeah, definitely. I think Well, there was two things. I actually kind of lost my train of thought if anyone has any questions in the meantime, but
I do.
go ahead, Sab.
Okay, number one, I love you. No, it's really interesting because like, I think, and not everyone's like this, but as women, like I'm in psychology, right? So as women, like I know that we're programmed to ask for permission in something, where men are actually not programmed like that. Like women are taught to ask and to like hold an indirect approach to everything, to situations in life. And where men are actually taught to be very direct in it. And it also shows because when men are direct, they get attention in a good way, where when women are direct, they get told, oh, they're bossy, they're bitchy. So like it's learning for women to kind of balance that. And I really like your approach because it's kind of shifting the mindset a bit and showing us like there's a way to be direct and to be confident in it. And also, even if someone does see you as a certain way, who fucking cares? Sorry that I'm swearing, but basically the point of my question that I actually want to ask you is I want to know what you do when you actually reach out to like you're not texting somebody. You're like, what are you doing? Like if you meet somebody in the day, how do you bring it up? If you're on the phone with or if you are texting someone, how do you bring it up? How do you get them on the call? I want to know that.
Okay, so before I answer that, just so I don't forget this, because I have this in my mind and I want to make sure I say this, is how it's like the rule of 1/3, or you ask 9 people and three will join. That's important, but you also have to realize those 9, you don't need to just ask 9 random people. Like you can be very meticulous in how you select those 9 so that maybe you can get 4 out of 9, 5 out of 9, 6 out of 9. So it's really important when you're going out and talking to people to make sure you think like, okay, this person, if I'm going to put my time and energy into whether talking to them on the phone, texting them, whatever, like how do they see me? Or do they respect me? Do they respect my work ethic? If I come to them with an idea like this, are they going to be like, oh, it's just something he's trying to do? Are they going to be like, oh, Zach has his own business. Zach does this. Like I respect him and how he is as an individual. So if he's coming to me with this, then this must be something big. This must be. So you got to really think of the people you're asking and kind of how they portray you and respect you. Because if you know for sure someone is not going to like take you serious, or they don't have respect for you, like regarding that, then it's, of course you can still reach out and ask them. But for me, it's like, I don't have the time for people like that. So I'm very exact in the people I try and get, and like there's a specific reason why, and their network as well. You have to think like, for example, Shamar, he had experience with an MLM before. He's like a very social guy. He's also in school still at McMaster, so he has an incredible network in Hamilton as a student. So like all those things came into consideration when I went, and I really wanted to get him. So I pursued him harder than someone else that maybe wasn't as much of a desirable candidate for me personally to work with and partner with.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I'll like what you were asking me about like how I recruit, it's kind of, yeah, like in person I feel like is the best. So if someone comes over to hang out or like do whatever, it's best to just talk to them like a normal person and just build it into your like regular conversation. Like, hey, what's up with you? Oh, work's good. This. Oh, I actually just started doing this, and just tell them your plans and kind of your goals and like where you're going with it before you bring it up and say, hey, you should do this because I'm doing this, and just explain it and try and sell it to yourself, but have them involved in the conversation. So just talk about what got you into it. Why are you doing this at the end of the day? Why do you love the products? And just, I usually just go on a rant about that. Like, the products are crazy. Like, it was only $20 to sign up. Like, I'm going to grow this. I can do this. And you get them excited about yourself. So then you want them asking the question, like, how did you get involved? How can I get involved? Like, you don't really want to, like, I wouldn't want to be like, you should do this. You should do this. You should do this. It's better for them to decide on their own. You just lay all the groundwork out, tell them everything, all your plans, and how you're personally going to grow it and how you're going to make a ton of money doing it. And then they'll ask the questions at the end of the day. You don't really need to be too pushy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it helps not really having a script. I feel like if you were to be like, oh, every person, like, I have this script and this is my pitch, like, sometimes it's good to just be like, fluid about it and just see how the conversation goes versus like being like, I want to mention this to them. I want to mention this to them. I think I should give them this information. Like kind of just see how it goes. Like I'm like very like chill about stuff. So like I just
with all of those people, number one, that was really great advice. And with all those people, did you, unless you didn't offer them, you didn't give them the offer unless they asked you, how do I get involved, essentially?
Like it didn't need to exactly be like, how do I get involved? But like you like as you're telling it to people, like you can see how people are taking it in. Like if they're like their eyes are wide open, they're like, whoa, really, really? Then it's like, if they're not asking, but you can tell they're really interested, you could be like, hey, yeah, like it was only $20 to sign up. Would you want to do something like that? Like I'm trying to build my team, and a lot of my success is built on the team I surround myself with. And like you gotta like also make them feel like they're involved and like why you would want them. It's almost like I am doing this big thing, right? And you explain that big thing you're doing, and it's like, I need these types of people that are hardworking, these types of characteristics to build my team. I think you would be suited for that. So would you be interested in working with me to do this and achieve this goal?
Yep.
Zach, I have to say, when you were talking about that, like when you were saying how you just lay out all the stuff, you really like, and people are like eyes wide open. That's how you know you hooked them in. And that reminded me of the GoPro event on Sunday. We listened to that guy. I forget what his name is, but he had the glasses and we liked him.
Yeah, Dean something.
Dean.
Yeah.
And Dean talked about like his process too. And he literally always says, even for network marketing, like you're telling a story, you're like laying down. And he said like, learning action and how you can help, so you hook someone with what you've learned from it. Like Zach, you said, like, I'm doing this thing. It's amazing. It does this, this, and this. And then you're like, this is how I did it. And then if they seem interested, then you're like, I can show you how, kind of thing. Yeah. So I like that was a really nice overlap.
Yeah, the products also, like, it's really important to fall in love with the products and what you're talking about. Like certain people might be very interested in a specific product. So as you're talking about it, bring that product up, talk about that product specifically, not even trying to recruit them, but just be like, how cool is this? There's this mat you can plug into the wall and it has the effects. You can stand on it under your desk. Like we're working from home right now. If you're talking to someone who's working from home, be like, I'm thinking about getting one of these. Like, how cool is that? Like it has the same effects as if you're standing outside in the grass. And someone who's interested in that, like I'm like surrounded by people who are into that kind of technology because I'm like a conspiracy theorist, quote unquote. So like filtered water, like calcifying pineal gland, all that stuff, like grounding effects. Like a lot of my friends are also interested in stuff like that. So it's easy for me to talk about because they know I'm not just like trying to sell them on something I haven't been talking to them about for 5-10 years, you know what I mean? Because all my friends have been talking about what's really in our water, fluorinated water. Why do these countries fluorinate water? Like all of that has been a topic. So it's not just out of the blue, Zach's coming with this business idea or this product, because I've been talking about stuff like that for so long. So it's easy. It's easier for me.
That's sick.
Yeah.
And what about people that you text?
Text, I don't really text a lot of people, but if I were to text someone, I feel like I would have the same kind of approach.
Zach sees a lot of people in his week.
Question.
His friends.
Question. After you have this conversation with the person and they're leaning in, they're interested, what's the next step? Do you get them on an ABC?
Yeah, ABC, Elena, boom. Hey, this is my friend. Give them the friend on FaceTime, and then I go do my thing. They talk, intro.
But you just call her on the spot on FaceTime?
Basically.
Let me know like 10 minutes in advance. Yo, can you get him a call in 10 minutes? Here's the thing though. From my perspective,
I love it. That's actually the frequency of that.
It's insane. From my perspective, like, and I feel like, all of us can relate in that way. I was nervous the first time this happened because I hadn't been doing solo ABCs, but I also started to realize, like, through this process, the same way that Zach's talking about it right now, yes, we have a method. Yes, we have scripts. Yes, we have trainings, but we're too much in our heads sometimes. Like, I genuinely think we overcomplicate it a little bit, and we just realize, like, it's about relationship building. Like, just get down and have a conversation with the person. Ask yourself why you're doing this. Be open to the questions that they have. You know, if you don't have the answer, you'll know someone who will have it, but just hear the person and where they're coming from, and then you can share your story. So when he's like, yeah, can you get on a call with me in about 10 minutes? I'm like, number one, thank you for setting that up, because great. Like, my job is now taken care of in terms of like, I just need to show up. But I'm like, yeah, I'll make myself available and we'll just figure it out from there. Like, it's really about the messy action. I'm not even kidding, guys. Like, and then obviously not caring. And Zach just has no shame. He doesn't care.
Well, I have two questions then. I have two
Yeah.
questions now. One for
Leave them
Zach and one for
there.
Yelena.
Yeah.
So for Zach, when you tell Elena to get on a call with somebody, do you send them a link? Do you like what information do they know before you get on that call? Like, what do they think they're getting on the call for?
So they just know what I talked to them about, like in person or whatever discussion we had. So I just basically will like talk about specific products, like kind of like my Instagram page I made, my like, it's weird how I'm doing it. Like, it's not like traditional how I made like the Nikan page and I'm doing that. So it's like, I also like to emphasize to people that it's your own business, and however you want to run it, you can do it. If you have 5,000 followers on Instagram or whatever, and you want to do that and market it like that, that's fine. If you have a connection, your cousin is famous in some country and has 100,000 followers, and you think I could sign up for this and give them my link to put in their bio and run it, like, then do that. So like, that's one thing I like to outline is just, it's your business, however you want to do it.
Yeah.
Results speak for themselves. Do it, you know?
Yeah.
So
I'm also
that's one
learning.
thing I'd like to outline.
I'm learning from that experience too. Like, I'm learning a lot from even his process and methodology, because like, you don't want to become too constrained and confined to the structure that is in place. Like, genuinely, I think we have a lot of resources at our disposal to use and to leverage that are very helpful as guides. You know, we have my uncle's story and the way that he trains and the lessons there, and the principles are all fundamental, but he's doing it very unconventionally. Like, he's getting me on the call with people who don't even have the link because he's not afraid to. He's like, yeah, we'll just figure it out. Like, the ideas are expanded, and then it's opening yourself up to a different network of people. Like, I even realized today, like, I was being a little too limited in my thinking based on what I've been taught, based on what my training was, or what I expected from the business. Whereas he was kind of just like, no, like, it doesn't have to be this way. Like, we don't have to limit ourselves. We don't have to limit the reach, the people that we speak to. There's a space, there really is a place for everybody in this community. And just reminding people that it's like Zach said, however you want to build this, whatever you want to make of this is entirely your own choosing. You let me know
So-
if you see yourself fitting in, and we can work with that.
Elena, on your ABC, then when he gets on the phone, what type of questions do they have for you?
I was
Like,
just
what do you
gonna
go
say,
through with them?
to sub that, Elena, why don't you say to the group kind of what happens
Yeah.
once he gets you on a call, so that people have an idea of how to do that on their own.
Sure. So because he's doing it unconventionally, I think the first question that I ask when I get on the call is, what do you know? Like, what's your understanding so far? Zach will like introduce us. And then they'll kind of paint a little bit of a picture. Maybe I'll ask them first and foremost, what questions do you have for me? And then like, what are some of the questions that I've gotten? I don't know exactly what are some of the questions that they have? Like, I don't even
Like, usually stuff I just like forget to tell them about, but
know, but like, I don't know.
I want to mention this as well before like we get into that, is like the whole like calling Elena and being like, yo, I need to do an ABC in 10 minutes. It's also, like I said, like my time, like I don't have the time to like have a meeting with her and be like, hey, like, how should we do this? Like, maybe I'll call and we should go through it like this. And like that whole like planning stage, it's kind of like, I don't have time to do that. And I feel like you don't always need to allocate that much time to doing that. Like, the first one I think went well, like with Cisco, the first like ABC we kind of did like that. And then it's kind of like we just learn as we do it versus trying to plan it. Cause like me personally, I learn by physically doing stuff. Like I can't really like read a textbook. I can't do that. Like I need to like
do.
show me something, let me like touch it, do it with my hands, whatever. And then like I learn that way. So it's kind of like we went through that, and even the first one wasn't bad, but it's like as you do it, you get better at it. So rather than try and plan and like stress about it and like making sure it's perfect, just do it. The results are the results. keep note of what you liked from the call, what you didn't like from the call, refine it, work on that. But you don't need to really put that much time and effort into the.
This is what I will say though. We know, like, in terms of him talking to people, like the frequency is like really intense because it's obviously happening quickly. But the first step would be, for instance, I get on the call with them and I'm always like very forward about asking like, okay, what do you know so far? Because it's my role to fill the gaps. And I'll like literally say that to him, like, I'm here for your information purposes. And it's kind of similar to how my uncle runs his ABCs. Once I ask them what they're aware of, what questions they might have for me, I'll tell them my story, why I'm doing this, when I started, what my story has looked like up until this point. I'll share that with them. And then I'll find out whatever questions they have beyond that. I'll let them know the information, which for the most part, Zach tells them it's $20 to get started. And then from there, I'm able to kind of like get a better idea of where a person might be, because maybe they need that extra call with my uncle, for instance. Maybe the next step would be to get them on an actual call, maybe a what conversation, the what it takes call on the Thursday. So we still leverage, like the structure is still being used. But I think the difference is that we don't need to get into our heads about it, in the sense that like there needs to be all this prep and planning and time, because you actually really just learn through messy action in this business. And it comes down to just believing in what it is that you're doing, right? Like Zach has said, like, we know we have great products. If you don't know that yet, that's where you need to start. If you haven't instilled that belief, you still are afraid to talk to people about this, it's not because what we have isn't valuable, it's because you don't believe in the value of it. So start there, and then just start sharing the heck out of it without an attachment to the outcome. Like we said, without an expectation. If someone says, no, we had a great ABC with his friend, did he sign up? No. Learn, move on to the next experience, right? It's not getting down on ourselves for what we didn't do. It's creating an opportunity, like focus on improvement, learning, and then continuing to adapt and be flexible and move forward in that way. So there are a lot of incredible resources that we have in place, and they're there for you to leverage. They're there for your learning. You know, we have a weekly rhythm for people to plug into. The calls with my uncle, the training calls, all of these are so valuable, but it means nothing if it's not actually put into practice, if nobody's taking action, because you don't know how to use these resources. Then you don't actually know where you might be falling short or where you might need to improve. For someone like Zach, it's easy for him to talk to people because he just doesn't care what the outcome is, right?
Another good thing about our ABCs and how Elena approaches it is, I'll bring someone sometimes and like she'll be able to read whether they want to talk or they want to listen. So there's people who want information, like they're interested, they want more information, and they want to talk, like they just want to talk about their life, what they're doing, whatever, and she'll listen to what they have to say and bring it back to how it could be related to Nikan and the opportunity. And then there's some people who will say something small and just want to hear more, and she'll go on and talk. So that's important too, like knowing your audience and kind of what do they want? Like, do they want to listen? Do they want to talk? And just bringing it back at the end of the day to that, and trying to make sure they don't rant for too long. So some people just talk forever and it's like, holy smokes, like, buddy, you want to sign up or not? Like,
well, that's the thing too. Like, it's funny, we say like Zach will like dump, this is my analogy for the two of us, okay? He'll dump the clay on the table and then I'm molding and refining the edges, and that's how it's working right now. So knowing your audience, but at the same time too, like, you know, sometimes we miss like the why conversation. Like, I need to know why someone wants to get involved in this. Maybe it's bringing it back to that. If they need more information, it's providing them with more information. If they need to talk to somebody more credible, I'm bringing in my uncle, you know, like I'm able to pull on the levers that we have in place already to cater it to the individual that we're speaking to. Now, Zach obviously has a relationship with them. I think that's part of the reason why, which is one thing I wanted to touch on, because this is what's so unique about your perspective and experience compared to the one that I had. And I'm sure the one that a lot of people on the team have struggled with in the past. You are actually much more comfortable talking to your friends about it than like a complete stranger. Whereas for most people, it's actually the reverse. Like, we struggle talking to the people that are closest to us about it compared to, you know, someone that we don't know too well, because it's almost like on some level, we feel like we're doing them a disservice, right? And so I think, again, what you mentioned is it goes back to number one, what's the relationship that you have with this person? Because if this person knows you, then it's probably a relationship that's built on trust and respect. And therefore, they're going to listen to what it is that you have to share. You're creating an opportunity for them. If you believe in what it is that you're doing, if you believe in the business, if you believe in the products, maybe you don't fully believe in yourself just yet, but at the very least, you believe in those two things, you're going to want to share this with as many people as possible. You're not going to want to hold this back from your friends. You're going to want to do this with your friends. And that's something that he's very direct on saying is, I'm going to do this with or without you, but I would love to do it with you. And then it's their choice and they get to learn about it. Right?
Yeah, that's one line I felt was like really effective when I'll tell my friends and I'm like, I'm just covering my bases right now, because when you see what happens and what this grows to in 6 months, I want you to remember that I at least asked you, and remember like this moment that I asked you, because it's gonna happen regardless. So that's like a really effective line, I feel, because they're like, holy, like he's not joking, like, and they've seen me talk. Like I got like a $2,000 like piece of shit truck when I first started landscaping, and then like I have a nice truck now, and they've seen me throughout my life. So it also goes back to the people you're talking to and their respect for you and how they see you as an individual, as a student, as a business person, as an employee, like how they perceive you, and how if you're going to allocate your time to doing this, then they should probably too, because maybe they have the same types of goals you have. Maybe they want to get a new truck, they want to do this, and they see you do it. So when they respect you and see you doing something like that, and you reach out to ask them to be involved, it's like, it's a no-brainer for them, because they know, like, I'm not going to do something and allocate time to something that's not going to bring me a return.
Yeah. Yeah. The comment that Soph just put in the chat, that's literally I think the differentiating factor. She said, this is a guy who has made a decision to succeed. That's why he speaks with that confidence, because he's doing the damn thing one way or another. That's the type of decision that we all have to make. That's exactly what it is. If you haven't decided that yet for yourself, then there's no way in hell you can share that with someone else. Right? So yeah, I think that's great. Do you guys have any other questions while Zach's in the hot seat?
Yeah, team, please ask away.
No, but not for Zach, but congrats, Zach. I'm Janine, by the way, everyone. I just have a proposal.
Yeah.
You know how you jump on, because you did we have events that have happened that are coming up. And I know that there's Zoom calls Thursday nights. Are those the ones that you would say to the person, why don't you join a Zoom call 8:00 on Thursday so you can hear more about this opportunity? Is that the call that we're inviting people to?
Yeah. Yeah. My interpretation of the Thursday night calls is it's the kind of call that can fit into the process before somebody joins. So maybe they don't have the ABC, you invite them, come learn more at this call. It's also the kind of call that can help orient or create like orientation for someone once they've signed up, because it goes into the what of the business. So the back end, the actual business strategy, the launch process. So it does provide context for someone. The way that I see it as well is it doesn't necessarily end there. So somebody who's wanting to get involved, like I find a lot of value and benefit in those one-on-one ABCs. That's just meant to be a part, like a way to circumvent that whole process. So let's say you spoke to like 5 people in the week, bring them to the call, have them come learn, and then you can kind of start to gauge from there. Okay, who needs to have a little bit more of a one-on-one? Who needs to learn a little bit more? Get them on a call with one of us, get them on a call with my uncle, and you can decide from there.
Okay, so that's the weekly one that you would like to.
Yeah, specifically what my uncle touches on in that call is the business strategy and launch, I believe. I think those are the 2 main concepts that he goes through.
Can there be something, I don't know if you guys are ever thinking about this, but I don't know if it'd be counterproductive, but more like a Meet and Zoom information night, like so similar to what you did live, because it was really sharing everything, products, and just on Zoom because it's really busy now, like within the next month.
Yeah,
I'm just putting it
I
out
think it's
there.
definitely something that we can coordinate. I know one of the ways in which we wanted to kind of start to get product info out there, and my uncle does this, is through his Monday night calls. He has, actually, it might not even be my uncle, isn't it Leo LeMay, who has like weekly, it's literally strictly product testimonials. It's like 30 minutes of just people coming in to listen to everybody speak about real product experiences. So I definitely think, especially with the group that we have now, if we start to speak to and reach out to some of our customers, people who have come to you and said, like, I had this experience with this product, starting to orchestrate that. And I know we had that at one moment a couple weeks ago or a couple months ago, and we can start to bring that back. But 30 minutes at the end of our call on Mondays, we can start to maybe do product testimonials and just have whoever needs to hear more about the products come and join if we're
Okay.
interested in doing something like that. In terms of the information session with respect to even like the business side of things, I feel like that's what the Thursday night call is meant to be. So if we can have that with then the product testimonials, for the most part, within 1 week, that should get somebody up to speed. And then of course, the one-on-one like ABC or the conversation with you, just to help connect the dots for them. So, yeah. All right, guys, any other questions with respect to that and Zach's experience?
Zach, I'm probably gonna like message you later, and I'm gonna be starting to ask you advice now.
But it's honestly not like, that's why when you guys ask me to like talk about it, it's like, it's not like really like, I don't use as many resources as I should. Like, I don't allocate a lot of time to it. It's just like, you gotta have that like confidence when you're talking about it, and you gotta just make sure like you understand like what why are you doing this? You know what I mean? It's not like, another thing that's big is like, I don't allocate like 1 hour to this. I don't allocate 2 hours to this. It's like when the opportunity presents itself, it's like, I gotta go. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Talk
you
to them
don't
5
try and
minutes,
make it
10 minutes,
perfect.
ABC.
That's
It's-
exactly it. What it is that you don't try and make it perfect.
Yeah.
No, not at all. And you just gotta,
You just do it. We're
whenever you
we're
can-
here trying to make everything
Yeah.
perfect.
Mhm.
whenever you can do it and get like 12 o'clock at night, ABC, like, Elena, let's go. Like, this is the chance. Like, I have him here right now. You know what I mean? And it's like, I'm FaceTiming her and he's beside me. And I'm like, literally like handing him the phone.
Yeah.
It's not even like a 3-way call. Like,
It's fully happening.
Okay, wait, Zach, I have a question. I just thought of something.
yeah.
So I feel like the main thing that we focus on in our contact and invite training is like figuring out their why. And so if you're kind of talking to them in like a very like kind of quick way where it's like super high pace, like do you really get into, or do you already know in advance because you already have a relationship with them, like what their why is? And do you bring that up at all when you're trying to like pitch to them? Or
Sometimes
no?
I'll ask them, like, I'll ask them, like, would you be interested in this? And what would you do with like the money? Like, why? Like, I'll have that conversation. But normally, like, I know, like, it's people I know that are in my circle, and it's like, I know they're either a student or this, and it's like usually I can tell, but yeah, I don't always ask, to be honest. Sometimes I will, but like not always.
I will
Sorry, so
often do that sometimes.
I
So
think it's really refreshing. Sorry, just because I feel like the majority of our team, obviously, we're mostly made up of girls.
Mhm.
It's just nice to have a refreshing perspective from like a guy's view. And like we have Mike, but he's like got everything down to a science. And I feel like as women, we really try to micromanage everything. So I feel like having Zach's, experience and point of view and how he does things is a little, for me at least, really refreshing because my mind doesn't think like that. I have to be like, oh my gosh, okay, what am I doing? How am I doing it? When am I doing it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, I
Right.
think that was really nice.
like I'm all over the place. So find a median between me and you, and that's probably like the first thing,
I was
like,
gonna also say
That's the
that
sweet
the
spot.
way he's doing it is great, but it's working for him. I think there
Well-
is still like meaning and purpose to the structure that is in place. But I think the main takeaway from this is like find what works.
It
for
doesn't
you.
always have to
Honestly,
be.
like, yeah, like I actually feel like when I first got into this, I was kind of in that place where I'm like, why does everything have to be structured? Like, because I don't really like structure, but I need a bit of structure. And I kind of went down that path because that's what I thought it had to be.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of nice to bring it back to realizing, okay, like it can be how I feel, like it works for me, because realistically, people aren't being sold on what it is. They're being sold on your energy. They're
Mhm.
being sold on the energy exchange between you two. And if you're not in a state of flow, they're not going to be in that state with you. I think that's really the main thing, like at least that I've learned.
Mhm.
But before we do anything else, Elena, we have 15 minutes left. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about or do in this call so that we can kind of cut these conversations?
Yes, there is.
Okay,
But
and
I
I
do.
think we should put it on hold.
Yeah.
Anything else? Message Zach himself. I hope you guys took notes because I took notes. If you didn't take notes and you want them, send me a message.
Mhm.
But keep in mind, these are the things you got to do if you want to be growing. Take notes.
Yeah. Just a commitment to your own growth. Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing, Zach. Yeah,
Oh,
like they said, like Sav said, if you guys have any questions at all, reach out. Like I will say from my own experience, just to quickly touch on what you said, Alicia, like I agree with the experience that you had. This is, I think, the reason why Zach and I work really well together is because like he brings the chaos, I bring a little bit of the order. And it's like we're able to find a middle ground. Like he's challenging me to move in a more direct and assertive way, but still being able to, you know, lead from a place of like integrity and compassion and what it is that we want to build here. Right. So, and this is one thing I will also touch on because this is something I know from like the back end of it all. Zach is a very giving person. I'm going to pump your tires for a second. He is a very giving person. He is always looking for opportunities to give to others and to be there for others just for the sake of giving. And I think because he's always operating from that vibration, things are naturally working for him. It's not easy, but he's coming from a different vibration. So remember, coming from that place of service always and detachment from the outcome.
Yeah, he's not like, oh, I hope they like see the value in this that I do. He's like, this is the value, whether you see it or not. I'm doing it. What's up? Like, what's up? Are you coming with or not? No, you're not. Okay, don't worry. Yes, you are. Okay, awesome. Let's go.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's a very different energy. He knows that what he's doing is something of value. He's
Mhm.
not in that place of like, oh, I hope that they see it the way that I do. I hope I don't offend them too much, you know, like I hope I don't embarrass myself here. Like he's just in a completely different mindset.
Sure.
And you got to just like, I'm going to challenge everyone to just pretend that you are Zach. Like if you see the opportunity arise in your life to
Yeah, definitely
talk to
don't do
someone-
that.
No, but just hear me out for a second.
No, I
Just be
get what
like, you see the opportunity, you're in with a coworker, something's going, you guys are talking about some things, and suddenly you're like, what would Zach do in this situation? And then just go, you know, just ask yourself, what would Zach do if I was Zach right now? How would I approach this? And then do that thing.
And then tone it
Honestly-
back like 5 notches and then do that.
Zach, I feel like if you get your your new partners to invest in their business, you should be at silver right now with double the points happening. Like you could
know, I'm
literally
trying,
be
I'm
at
trying,
silver.
I'm trying.
Guys, it's already done.
Challenge you to get there, bud.
Okay,
Next
okay.
week.
What date do I have till?
You got this,
That's
Zach.
December 17th. He already knows it's done this week. It's
We're
happening.
rooting for you.
Everybody set that intention.
Set the tone for us, Zach.
I'll try.
No, you know.
No trying.
already
It's
know.
All right,
fine.
when are you going gold then? What's your date? Buddy?
We work
Is
together.
your date the
We all
17th
gotta
too?
go to Team Kaizen one year.
Elena, you're 17 for
Yes.
gold too, or what?
December 17th. That's what
Yeah.
I don't know about that one, man. By the end of
Oh,
the
here we go. Speak it into existence. Come on,
Okay.
manifest.
Hey,
buddy.
it's attainable goals. I think that's a very important thing. Yes, have goals, but also don't set yourself up for goals that you know is actually not going to happen.
know my priorities.
And in a matter of 5 days with what she's got, that's an unattainable goal. Let's talk about something different. Let's talk about by the end of the month.
Yeah, no, that's happening. Don't worry, it won't happen, but it's true. Okay, shifting gears though, because I know we wanted to get into a little bit more of like cultural commitments. I just had this like, there's a direction I want to take our call in tonight, if you guys will allow me to, because I was a part of a webinar earlier today by I Am Wells, Melissa Wells, and she's like a conscious feminine leader, coach, mentor, and developer, or business mentor, sorry, and developer that I follow. I like resonate with her very strongly, and everything she does is about leading from the heart, executing with the mind. So a strong spine, but an open heart, and really shifting into that paradigm of conscious leadership. So one of the practices that she had us kind of go through to expand our minds for a second, I want everyone to kind of close their eyes just for a moment. And I want you guys to like start to tune into your breath. You can place your hands over your heart. If you're a female, you can put your other hand over your womb. Sorry, Zach.
Hey, he has a sacral chakra too.
There you go.
Yeah, buddy. Don't assume.
Don't assume. Okay, so what I want us to do is as you start to tune into your breath, I want you to ask yourself the question, why am I here right now in this exact moment. Why am I here in this time and space? Why am I here on this call with this team, with this company, with this mentorship? Why did I choose to answer the call? Why am I choosing to answer the call to leadership? Why am I here? And I want you guys to take a moment to just focus in on that question. Whatever thoughts, whatever answers come forward, allow them to come forward. Continuing to ask yourself the question, why am I here in this moment right now? And when you feel ready, I want you to open your eyes, bring your presence back into the call. Okay. Does anyone want to share some of the thoughts that came forward? I know it wasn't too long. I want to be able to kind of just move forward because we have about 10 minutes, but did anyone have something come through that they want to share? Sophia?
I just like honestly asked that question, and like the answer was service, like to serve. That was literally it. And I felt like my heart expanding a lot, and just like could feel the energy coming out of it.
Yeah.
And extending into the screen and to everyone here. And then in my mind, I saw this vision of like, how do I even describe this? It was almost like, I felt like a fishing net, like extending in all directions around me. And the knots were like made of people.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of like this like never ending infinite web of people that we are like, this small team is like starting this ripple, and this is like the vision of how it's going to extend all across the globe. And I just saw like we're kind of like we're making connections, like we're making this like intricate network,
Right.
and community. And so yeah, that's what I saw.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I love
And
that.
when you say that, Sophia, all I think of is like neurons and all their connections, and like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It is.
When it came to me, I was very much like, my heart felt so warm, because for me, I think like the community that we've built here, like, is something really special too. Like, I honestly really enjoy coming to these calls. Like, I was like, the feeling that we had at the event, it's like that feeling. That's the feeling I have with like having this community, personal growth and development, like really building myself, and like becoming a better version of myself.
Yeah.
And like, that's really about.
That's beautiful. I love that. Does anyone else want to share before I continue?
I will, but I want to hear from other people. Can you guys turn your cameras off?
I talked too much already there.
I'm
not
just
saying
saying
anything
here,
else.
like, I just want to see your faces. And so many cameras are off. I'm sorry, that's the honesty in me. I really love to see your faces. But I will share. I felt like at first what I was feeling was that I have a unique ability and perspective that is only innate to me, and it's my like duty to share that with people, and my gift to share that with others. And I also got brought back into, okay, well, that's the teacher, but then I'm also the student. And like, even just with this call, like I'm also learning from this community. Like, why am I here? Because I know that my soul came here to grow and to expand and to immerse myself in experience. And the only way I can truly do that, with an open heart and open mind, is by learning from others and being open to it. And hearing other people's perspectives and their unique abilities, because I truly believe every single person has a unique ability. that they're here to share with us. So that's what came to mind for me. And also, there was one other thing. I'm like kind of blanking on it that I thought of.
Okay. If you think of it, just let me know and we can definitely
Yeah.
correct it. But I agree with you, Sav. I think that's right on par with what I've been kind of like feeling and thinking about over the last like week and a half, especially since our last conversation. Where, you know, we were asking you guys the question of what is it going to take for you to feel like you need to show up, like you need to be here, like every single one of you is needed in this community and what we're creating, right? And I think coming back to that question for yourself of why am I here? Like I had this thought last week where I was like, we don't often think about all the different like events and experiences that had to play out in certain moments in time for you to literally be present in this one very moment right now with this group of people, with this opportunity, with this company, which we already know the value in that is just of another kind, you know, with this business model that is centered around service, all of these things that have lined up to allow for us to be present in this moment together. That is so rare. And to tap into that, you start to realize like that's not an opportunity that you want to take for granted. It's not something, I mean, it could be an opportunity that you allow to just pass by, but you have to ask yourself if that's what you really want. And so we were in this webinar and, you know, what really just came forward was this idea that like, and I think we can all agree to this, but we are going through such a massive shift right now, like collectively, humanity is going through such a pivotal moment in time, such an incredible shift. Things are changing before our eyes and in a lot of ways, positive and negative, right? And we chose to be a part of that experience. And every single one of us is needed in that experience. I think we can all agree right now that the leaders that exist in our world today are not the kind of leaders that we want to stand behind. They're not the kind of leaders that we need paving the movement, the way forward into the new world, the world that we actually would want to be a part of and live in. There is quite literally a massive call for new leadership. And it's not a call for just one singular person. It's a call for every single person to start to step into their power as a leader, to start to tap into their unique abilities, their unique talents, to hone that and to share that with people, because it's been something that has been suppressed for far too long, right? And so we can think about that when we think about what we're building here, what we're providing as an opportunity. This business, this community is so incredibly powerful because we get to put people in a position of leadership. We get to put people in a position of transformation. We get to put people in a position of healing. We get to put people in a position of wealth creation. And what that means is we also afford them the opportunity to completely transform their lives. And we need that. We literally need more people stepping into their power, stepping into their greatness. Like as a collective, we need that. And that's something that I want us all to start to think about, because I know sometimes we're most often focused on, you know, what's the vision that we hold for our own life. And that's important because that's your compass. That's something that's needed for you to start to tune in, to tap into your own, you know, desires, tap into your own unique abilities. But then beyond that, I want us all to start to think about what's the vision for the world that we want to live in? What's the impact that we actually want to create? Because we're literally creating it now. And it's needed now more than ever, not just for ourselves, but for, you know, everyone for the most part. We're a part of that shift, right? So when I was part of this webinar, I was just thinking about it because I genuinely feel like when I start to take the attention off of myself as an individual, you know, tapping into the vibration of service, tapping into the community aspect, tapping into the impact, the people that are going to learn from our experiences, the people who are going to transform as a result of the decisions that we make, you start to feel like your role is necessary. And every single person needs to understand how needed and necessary their role is today. Every single person needs to start playing bigger. We don't need more people playing small. We don't need more of the same people. We need more of each and every one of us. So said it before, like we want to, what is it, so? You want the world to be a better place? We need to put people in a better place. We have that opportunity. We literally have an opportunity to put.
That's what I said.
Oh, yeah, no, okay, sorry. But we have that opportunity to put people in a better place. Like, think about that. literally the capacity to open a door for somebody to completely transform their life, and how that shifts the collective as a result of that, the way in which that contributes, the legacy that we get to leave behind, the actual impact that we want to make. So if you're starting to question your role, if you question whether your presence is needed or necessary, I really urge you to start to think about it from that perspective. Who's missing out as a result of you playing small, as a result of you not showing up? Because that's the community that I want to be a part of. That's the community that I want to help facilitate and create, because I want a hand in the world that I want to live in, right? It's not the world that exists right now. It's just not. And we're going through a shift, which means there's going to be a transformation. There's going to be a change on the other end of that. So where do you want to sit? What side of that coin do you want to sit on? Right?
I love this call. I think I even just want to incorporate more like in our calls and our lifestyle. Like, I think this is a really great reminder of like, we're learning the business and the structures, and like even us, like Neil and Sophia, like we're still learning clearly, as you guys can see. But it's also, it brings you back to realizing like you should feel in a flow state. Like you should feel like it's just another part of you expressing who you are, and it shouldn't feel so taxing. And if it's feeling taxing, then our energy is not in the right space. And these conversations, I think, are really important reminders of why we're actually doing this, why we're here. And if we're not coming from that place when we're talking to somebody or when we're posting about it, then we're not coming from the right place, and we're not going to get the results that we want, because we're not going to be sharing the message that we want to be sharing, especially like as women. Like, again, Zach has his method, and he's direct, and that's how he is. But women are also, we go with the flow. A lot of women are very flowy. A lot of women need to feel like they're expressing themselves in a way, and like still do it in a way that works for you, in a way that you share things naturally. Take your business and now share it in that way. And that's something that I'm going to be thinking about over the next week and the rest of the month, because I'll finally done school. But anyways, yeah.
This is one more thing that I want to touch on, because this is actually the thing that's been coming up for me a lot recently. Like, if you guys are like following me on Instagram, you know, I shared the whole conversation around the 4 cash flow quadrants. Like, this has been so transformative for me, because I'm starting to realize more and more just how important wealth creation is. Because if we're thinking about putting people in a better position to actually have an impact, to start to create the kind of world that we want to live in, that requires resources. We quite literally, like, we need people to have resources. Each one of you guys needs to have resources. That's money included. So if you're not thinking about it in that way, then I implore you to question that further, because there literally needs to be a collective shift in money, a transfer in money from the hands of those who are living in the old paradigm, that hold values that are attached in the old paradigm, into the hands of those that are now operating from the new paradigm, one that is rooted in community, one that is rooted in transformation, in love. Like, that's what quite literally needs to happen. It needs to be a transfer of wealth into the hands of conscious leaders who genuinely want to make the world a better place. We have the capacity to facilitate that. We literally do. And so for me, knowing that, there's zero chance in hell that I'm going to hold back from sharing that message. There's zero chance in hell that I'm going to hold back from not sharing with this with as many people as possible, right? So there needs to be that transfer of wealth. We need resources. Humanity needs more conscious leaders having the resources to actually have a positive impact. Because I'm telling you right now, the leaders that we have today, they're dead and gone. Like, we don't need them anymore. There needs to be a shift. And we have a very powerful vehicle to facilitate that shift. So we'll leave it at that.
That was great. Thank you. Does anyone have any last things they want to say?
Last words, be on our call Thursday.
Yeah.
At 8 o'clock, 8 to 9:30. It's with Mike DiMuccio. It's going to be a really great mentoring call for all of us. We're going to be talking about the 90-day launch.
People?
No, I think this is going to be more for our team this Thursday. If you want to set up a call with Papa and one of your like new prospects, feel free to do that outside of the Thursday night window. But yeah, this Thursday night is going to be a really powerful mentoring call with him, talking about 90-day launch and how it relates to our business, because there are milestones that Nikan has put in place in order to incentivize you growing your business faster. So teaching us how do we hit Team Kaizen, you know, what does that look like? That's all going to be covered in Thursday night's call. So make sure you put in your calendar, make it a priority, be there, because it's going to really give you like the plan. Like, what is the plan? If we want to make, especially going into the new year, you know, like new year, new vibes, new everything. I've decided that 2022 is my first six-figure year. I don't know about you guys. But we need to have an action plan, right? And it always starts with the 90-day launch. So let's all get 2022 off to a great start. Make sure you're at this meeting. It's going to be really great.
Yeah.
Besides that, I think that we had some really, really great pointers tonight. We had such a great like call. These calls are never like fully planned, but so much value came out of tonight's call. If you know somebody who wasn't here, please share it with them, because they should definitely watch this and get a new perspective on the contact and invite. You know, we're all just like opening our minds and learning different ways to go about this so we could find our own unique path. Thank you guys all so much for making the time to be here today. It's so great to see all your faces on this call. Literally brings me so much joy every time we have these calls. And have a beautiful rest of your evening.
Wait, pause. If you guys are okay with it. If you guys are able to and okay with it, I'd love for you to turn your cameras on. I just want to take a group photo of us. And I was going to post it, but I can block your face out if you don't want me to. Put your face on it. Just let me know. But I really want to take a group photo.
Yeah, let's do it. Everybody fix their hair.
I know. Yay. Oh my God, you could see my Christmas things in the back. Wait, let me try and fix that. Ready? Awesome.
Tag us all, and everyone.
Every
please
week
help me-
it'll get bigger.
Please,
Thanks.
wait. Guys, please help me congratulate Kat, our new mama.
I know,
on this.
Oh my God, look at the baby. I just
Oh,
Congratulations.
newest
So
addition to the
beautiful.
Nikan family. Congratulations, beautiful.
Oh my God.
Like, that's like
Oh my goodness.
fresh. Like,
fresh. We're so
Like
proud
that-
of you, and we're so happy.
I'm
for
just
you,
like, oh my
Kat.
God, so pure.
Oh my God, Kat, that's amazing. Congratulations.
We love him.
Congratulations.
Mwah.
All right, guys.
Bye,
Bye,
everyone.
everyone.
Bye guys. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.